Speaking of Peyton Manning, let's go to the phone right now. Let's bring in a friend of the show, Sam Monson. He's a senior analyst at Pro Football Focus, so he grades out every player on every team every weekend. He and his team, and Sam wrote an article on Peyton Manning that hit the internet this morning. Sam, welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Sure. So, Sam, one of the things you said in the article was that Peyton is operating very much as a game manager. And you wondered if the Broncos would be 4-0 if it weren't for Peyton. What's your conclusion?
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing a Peyton Manning that I don't think anyone ever really saw or ever really thought we would see, and that's a guy who is not running everything. He's not in control of everything. The team is not going as far as Peyton Manning takes it. He's really become a guy who's almost just sitting back and doing what he can, and the rest of the Denver Broncos is picking up the slack. And, for the first time, maybe ever actually in his career, he's got a genuinely elite defense behind him. He's got some weapons to play with that he's had, and really he's a smaller piece of the puzzle than he's ever been in the past.
I talked to him alone after his press conference last night about this defense, and I asked him specifically if this was the best defense, and he did a typical Peyton Manning, even to me, and we have a great relationship. He said, I hate to compare, this early in the season, I hate to compare defenses to defenses that I've had here before and defenses, and so he gave a roundabout answer. So I asked you the question, Sam, and you kind of addressed the same topic I brought up in the press box last night. Do you really believe that if Brock Osweiler was the quarterback, they'd be 4-0? Are they that dependent on the defense that they could take somebody that's never played in the NFL and be 4-0? Or that they could have signed one of the McCowans and be 4-0?
I like the better option there, the second option better there. I think it's tough to know what you're going to get from a guy like Brock Osweiler who's never really played before, or anybody coming in straight off the street. But I think we're seeing a team that could easily be 4-0 with some very, very average quarterback play. And that's because, in all honesty, they've had some very, very average quarterback play from Peyton Manning. So, a Josh McCown has got enough, a Luke McCown has got enough that they could probably be 4-0 with either of those two guys starting. Now, whether those two guys would have it in them to, pull a win out of the bag the way Peyton Manning probably still can when things go wrong for a game or two, that's another matter. But, right now, this defense is playing out of its skin, and the quarterback is just not a huge factor in the games at the moment.
Well, wait, Sam, I need to disagree with that. At the end of every one of those 4 wins, Peyton Manning has either taken them on a long drive that ate up clock, or taken them on a long drive that ended in a winning touchdown or a winning or tying field goal. So I don't know that there are many other quarterbacks in this league that could have done what Peyton's done. Now, I get it. The first 3 quarters of the game, sometimes he's good, sometimes he's not. He's terribly inconsistent. But, I mean, really? I mean, anybody could have helped them to a 4-0 record after seeing what Peyton did at the end of those 4 games?
He's definitely done stuff at the end of the games, but like you said, what happens in the first 3 quarters of those games? And, he's been bad in some of those games.
God, we're talking about him, Sam, like he's Tim Tebow. My stomach's turning right now.
Yeah, well, he's not been that bad, but he's been pretty bad. He's even against the Vikings, there were horrible decisions with the ball. The Anthony Barr interception, terrible pick, straight to a linebacker, more or less. Threw another ball straight to Harrison Smith. Those are the kind of plays that you expect from a guy like Josh McCown. So as much as Peyton Manning then has been able to do something at the end of these games, there's no telling where the Broncos would be in terms of the game situation if they'd had even moderately good quarterback play for the first 3 quarters of some of these games.
Yeah, I tend to agree more with Sam that you wouldn't have had to be in that situation if he's thrown a pick in every game.
And in 2 games, a pick 6. Yeah, I get it.
That if you had Peyton Manning of old, they wouldn't have needed that situation because of the.
He is Peyton Manning of old. Yeah. 39 years old.
He's the old Peyton Manning. He's not the Peyton Manning of old.